we're back with another review of Supergirl and Batwoman. Now, yeah, so these two episodes have been a long time coming because both shows have been on a break for like basically a month. Like pretty much a month now, like 3 weeks to a month. So Batwoman returns this Sunday, I believe, and then I think Supergirl comes back the following Sunday, which is May 4th. Or, yeah, I think it's May 4th or May 10th, one of the two. So, let's get into it, let's get caught up, and we'll start this review off with a little Batwoman. So, for this episode of Batwoman, where we last left off, Kate had just accidentally murdered the man who kidnapped her sister and killed her mom, cut off her head, and left it in the freezer. The entire family, the Kane family, Kate, Alice, Beth, and the commander, their dad, they're burying the body. And while they're burying the body, Alice is just like, making her jokes and, and everything. And like her dad's getting pissed. And, Kate's just kind of like, she's struggling a little bit because, she's struggling with the fact that she's the one who killed him. And her dad even told her, he was just like, listen, like this fool like messed up our entire, he ruined our family, messed up our lives. So don't waste your, your sympathy and, and anything on this piece of shit. And, but Kate wasn't handling this very well. Even as Batwoman, she was like out in the streets, and then she was like being overly aggressive with the criminals and everything. And then she started hyperventilating because she's afraid that she's turning into Alice. That's basically what she's afraid of. So she has to deal with that. I assume she put the Batwoman stuff on hold for a minute just so she can kind of like wrap her head around, because that was the only time during the entire episode we saw her in costume. So so later, Alice comes to her bar, and she's just like, okay, well, actually, first, let me go back. So then Alice, she went back to her hideout. Like, after the whole thing was over, she left, whatever. She went back to her hideout. Her entire gang, the entire Wonderland gang is dead. Like, someone killed them all, left their bodies scattered all over the place. Alice, she was like, what the hell's going on? And then she saw a note. It said something to the effects of, like, you thought I forgot what you did, or I'm coming for you, or something like that. So now Alice is basically freaking out because she knows the person who's coming to get her, and she even said to Kate, she was just like, somebody who I pissed off long ago is he's coming for that ass. So so now Alice's whole thing, she's like, yeah, I got to get out of Dodge. She goes to Kate's bar, and then she says to Kate, she's like, listen, help me find Miles. Kate's like, why should I do that? And then she's just like, because if you help me find Miles, once I find him, I'll take him and I'll leave Gotham, and you never got to worry about us again. So Kate was like, all right, bet, like, I'll help you find Miles. After talking to her dad said that, because Mouse was on the fear tox and everything, so he's still a little cuckoo. Her dad said that Mouse was basically, he was walking around the city targeting former doctors and nurses who treated him when he was in Arkham the first time. And, and Alice even said, she was like, like those were the people that kind of like tortured him and mistreated him, because like the Arkham physicians, like they're not very nice people when it comes to the criminals, understandably so. So she was just like, he's getting revenge on all the people that hurt him. So they found this one nurse, who hadn't been shot or like, maimed yet. Alice and Kate go to her house. They're just like, hey, listen, like Mouse is coming, because he's targeting nurses. Can we stay here until he shows up? Two of them are sitting there. Mouse shows up, and then as soon as they get ready to take him, because they was gonna trank him, and then I guess they was gonna throw him in Alice's car, and Alice was gonna bounce. But then the crows showed up, and then when the crows showed up, they were just like, who called them? And then the woman, like the nurse woman whose house they were in, she was like, I called the crows because I know you bitches was lying. So they beat up the old lady. The crows have Mouse, and then Kate and Alice dip. So now Alice's whole thing is, she's like, I still need your help, and then she's like, why should I help you? And then she's like, because you're just like me. And she's like, I'm not like you. She's like, of course you are, because I came up with this elaborate ruse to get you to kill this man, to kill the man that murdered our mother, and you did it. And then they got mad, and Alice, like Kate tried to choke Alice, and she's like, are you gonna kill me now too? So yeah, not Alice. Kate's not having a good time here. Like Kate's struggling here, But then she agreed. Because I guess like to get Alice out of town, to have one less burden on her shoulders, she agreed to help break him out of Arkham. See, the reason why Alice needed, Kate to break her out of Arkham is because the room that Mouse is in, you need 2 keys to open it. One of the keys belongs to the security guard. The other key belongs to the doctor. And you got to turn both keys at the same time. So, they put like animal Alice in Wonderland mask on. They go into the prison. they get both keys. Then they go downstairs to let Mouse out. Now this was interesting because when both of them opened the door, when they unlocked the door and then the door swung open, Beth went into the room and Kate didn't go into the room. And when I was watching it, the first thing that popped in my mind was, why Kate not going in the room? And I was just like, that'd be really messed up if she closed. Oh shit, she closed the door. Kate actually closed the door, and she locked Beth into the room that Mouse was in. And then she's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Yo, that's some cold shit." like I understand Alice is a killer, and Alice has murdered lots of people, and she's done her. But I'm like, "Yo, that's some cold shit." Like I didn't think Kate had that in her, and I was just like, "Oh no." Like she locked her in, and then her dad came around the corner, and then she's like, "You've been set up, bitch," and then. And I kind of felt bad for Alice in that moment because she told Kate earlier that when she was under the influence of the fear toxin, she said that one of the things that she saw was Kate abandoning her, like Kate and her dad abandoning her, and she was like, that hurt her more than anything. It's just the thought of like, you abandoning me. And in that moment where she was asking Kate to open the door and let her out, and then Kate was like, I'm not going to do that. And then her dad was like, you're going to jail, Alice. And then the dad walked away. And then when Kate walked away, Alice started screaming. She was like, don't leave me. Because now it's like her worst fear basically just came true, which is sad. It's very sad for Alice to have to go through that. But she did wrong, and, she got to pay for it. And and then even like that in the end, like they saw Mouse is still locked up, being abused by the physicians, and then they saw Alice in her jail cell, and she's basically just trying to like cope with the fact that she's locked up. So Alice is like one of the main characters, so she's not going to be locked up that much longer. If anything, she'll probably miss like 1 or 2 episodes, and then she'll spring back because we still don't have who. Because honestly, I don't think Alice is the actual big bad of the season. I think there's another person out there, and we might find out who that person or persons is because of what happened to the rest of the characters in the show. So Luke Fox, the trial for the man who killed his dad was taking place. He goes down to the courthouse, and he's waiting for the verdict, hopefully that the guy goes to jail forever, for the murder of his dad. Mary shows up, and I gotta give Mary props because Mary is, I really don't want to say it like this, but in the beginning, Mary was a cool character. She was the doctor by day, and then she was the social mediaite. She was the social person during the day, and she was saving lives at night. That was cool. But ever since her mom died, like, Mary's been the shit since like her mom died. Like she's been all over everything. Like she's helping everybody. She figured out Kate was Batwoman. Like she's like she's holding her shit. And then she was there for like that whole scene with her and Luke where she put her hand on his knee and was telling him like, "Yo, I'm here for you." I was just like, "Yo, that's wife material." like Luke better stop playing. And the two of them went to the car garage. They went to like the junkyard. That in that last episode, like. Mary and Luke need to bone and get that shit over with. And I'm gonna keep saying that till it happens. But Mary's a real one. So I just hope because of everything that's going on with Luke, he's not really thinking about that right now. But he'll see eventually. He'll see eventually. So then the judge basically said that that there was a lot of tampering going on. People falsified certain information, and because of that, they let the guy go because he's going to get a retrial. So, Luke wasn't happy about that. And then, so the guy's free now, like he's free to walk the streets. And then, he was with his mom. And then when he was walking home with his mom from the grocery store, Luke rolled up on him. And I was like, yo, please don't tell me Luke's about to kill this dude. And then, Luke was just like, yo, why'd you kill my daddy, man? Like he hit him with the Fresh Prince. He's like, yo, why? He's like, why you kill my dad, man? And then, the guy was just like, I didn't. He was, he said, I went into the bodega. Your dad was in the bodega telling everybody that you just graduated from MIT or you got accepted to MIT and how you were about to change the world. He's like, he wouldn't stop talking about you. And then he was like, I just went to the store to get a bag of chips. I blacked out. And the next thing I know, I'm sitting on the floor with a gun in my hand. Your dad's blood's all over me. The cops came, they arrested me. And he's like, yo, I'm a black man. I got a prior record. I got dreads or whatever. And he was just like, I don't know why he threw that in there. But, he was just like, of course, a jury was going to think I killed Lucius Fox. So he was like, yo, I was set up. And then, Luke was like, he was like, but just Luke was, I mean, Luke didn't believe him because obviously, like, his dad's gone. He wants to be able to put blame on somebody. But just then, like, he saw the red dot on the guy's chest, and then someone shot him. So now, like, the kid's dead. Luke was the one that was there to watch him die, and that didn't make him feel any better. So he was just kind of like messed up over because he was like, who shot this? Like somebody just randomly shot this dude. He later went, so then later then like I said before, because there's something going on with Mary and Luke. The first thing he did was he went to Mary's doctor, Mary's bootleg hospital. So now earlier in the episode, Commander Kane, he had brought the beautiful Sophie back into the fold because he's still investigating Lucius Fox's murder because he said someone in the Crows is covering up that entire situation. He's like, there's no evidence, there's no video footage, there's no surveillance footage from the bodega the night he got shot. And he was just like, and then he was like, there are some money transactions in the Crows that, that look a little funny. So, he unsuspended Sophie and asked her to look into this on the low. So Sophie ends up going to the woman who owns the bodega to find out what happened to the security footage. When Sophie goes to the apartment, the woman that owns the bodega was dead. And then somebody took a shot at Sophie. And then when the person took a shot at Sophie, Julia Pennyworth, Alfred's niece, she was there. She saved Sophie from getting shot. Thank you for that. And then, she was just like, she's like, yo, you're Sophie, aren't you? And then she's just like, how do you know my name? And she's like, because I'm Kate's ex. I'm Kate's ex and you're her ex. And then the two of them linked up on some stupid secret spy shit. So now the two of them together, they were just talking about the murder situation. And they were just like, she was just like, okay, so now she was like, I'm investigating Lucius Fox's murder, and now somebody's trying to kill me. She was like, I don't know who's trying to kill me, but we got to find out who's trying to kill me. And then she was talking to Commander Kane about it. She was like, yo, somebody just tried to pop me, and then somebody tried to kill Commander Kane. So this is obviously an inside job because whoever, like, somebody knows that. Well, the Sophie thing just could have been a coincidence where the guy probably just shot the store woman. It's not like he was waiting for Sophie to show up, but no, but he did take a pop at her. He did try to shoot her. So the fact that he tried to shoot Sophie and the fact that he tried to kill Commander Kane, and then the guy who was framed for Lucius Fox's murder is dead, the store woman's dead, like somebody's really trying to cover this shit up. And it's somebody in the Crow. It has to be somebody in the Crows because who else would know that Sophie and Commander Kane are actually looking into Lucius Fox's murder? So that's going to be very interesting when it comes alive, because even then, when Luke went to go talk to Mary and he had like the guy's blood all over him, and he told her what happened, Mary even said she was just like, yeah, she's like, because Sophie and Julia had went to Mary too because they had to get patched up because Julia got shot, and then she said she was just like, yeah, she's like, Sophie told me earlier that the woman that owned the bodega, she died. So now Luke is just like that, that kid didn't kill my dad. And my dad's actual murderer is still out there somewhere. So now he's all like messed up in the game. And then, I mean, they should click up. Like Mary's going to be the glue that brings all of them together on this because she knows everybody's information. She knows everybody's story. So like Luke, Sophie, Julia, and Mary, they're going to link up together and try to solve this Lucius Fox situation while Kate's over here trying to like fix herself. Then after Julia found out that this whole situation is basically geared around Lucius Fox's murder and Lucius Fox was her godfather, she went to Wayne Tower to go check on Luke to see how he was doing. And then she saw Kate. She saw Kate there. Kate was like getting drunk, sitting on the ledge of a roof. Julia joined her on the roof. The two of them started talking. Then they started making out. And I'm like, yeah, I better get off the goddamn roof before somebody fall over. And that was it. So this is good because there's like this. There's like this, and and I'm gonna say this too. Whoever murdered all these people, and whoever is trying to cover up the Lucius Fox murder, I guarantee you, it's the same person that murdered the Alice's Wonderland gang. So, and I hope that when this person gets revealed and we find out who they actually are, I hope that it's a comic book character, not just like some random person. Like I hope it has like a tie-in to something, like a tie-in to like a larger story here. Maybe like a villain that we can see for years to come down the line, depending on what happens. Like I said, but good episode of Batwoman, and they've got me hooked. They've got me wanting a Luke Mary get together, and Now I want to know like the secrets behind Lucius Fox's murder, and I want to see where all of this goes. And it's pretty cool that they got me hooked like this because we're still in season 1. So like I said, good episode of Batwoman, and we'll see what happens in episode 17. So for this episode of Supergirl, it's very Alex it's very Alex centered. In the last episode, we found out that Jeremiah, Alex's dad, had passed away. And, Jean had said that he died of cardiac arrest, which I thought was really weird because I was under the impression he was Cyborg Superman. So how's a robot going to have cardiac arrest? But they never specified which parts of him, like, was he 100% robot? Was he half human, half robot? Like, which parts were human, which parts weren't? So I'm just like, all right, he went through all that and died of cardiac arrest, whatever. So everybody's getting together. They go to, the whole family's getting together. They go to Alex's house, so they can go down to, go to their hometown for the funeral. Alex isn't going. Jean's there, Kara's there, Kelly's there. Alex isn't going. Kara wants to know why she's not going to her own father's funeral. And then Alex was basically like, I ain't doing that shit, because she was like, first of all, I mourned that man like 3 times. 3 times by now. She's like, second of all, and then she was real. She was just like, it angered her, because she was like, first of all, she said that her and her dad used to have a tight connection. But then when Supergirl showed up, her dad gave all the attention to Supergirl and treated her like she was nothing. Regardless if that's true or not, that's how she felt. And, and she didn't blame Kara per se, but she was just like, even after they saved him from Cadmus, she said that he never, and I remember that episode. I remember like they were in the forest or something, and then like he saved her from getting shot. And, he was on the run because, Cadmus was looking for him and whatever, but she said that, even though he was on the run, he never contacted us. He never tried to find us. He never called. So she was just like, I basically just like lost him all over again. And now that I find out he's dead, I didn't get a chance to talk to him, say goodbye, whatever. So she was very bitter about the whole situation. She took it out on Kara. She basically like cut ass on everybody who was in her apartment, except for Jean. She kicked everybody out, and then she did the one thing that everybody in National City does when they want to escape reality. She put on the virtual reality contact lenses to go into the VR world. And when she put the contact lenses on, this thought popped in my mind because I was just like, wait a minute, we're all on the same Earth now. Like all the shows are together, like everybody's all on one Earth. Does no one else in any other city have obsidian contact lenses? Like, does no one in like it's like Andrea's whole operation is based in National City. I get that. She's giving out the contacts to everybody in National City, but I'm pretty sure she's selling them worldwide. So why would Cisco not have a pair of VR of VR contacts? Nobody on Batwoman has them. Nobody on Black Lightning had. Well, they were going through the Markovia thing, but I'm just like, shouldn't somebody else? Like the contacts just don't exist in National City. Like somebody else in another show should have these contacts. But anyway, maybe that's there's still more episodes to go before the season ends, so hopefully they'll fix that. Even like I said, it's just like the little things. Now that we're together, the little things that count. Black Lightning season finale, the whole Pierce family was in Gotham City at a hearing about the Markovia situation. So it's like if you're on Batwoman, there's no reason why there shouldn't be a scene where Kate and Luke are like in the Batcave or something, or watch, and they're like on a television set in the background, you see the Pierce family sitting at the courthouse, since they are in Gotham, but whatever. So Alex, she puts the contacts on, she goes into the virtual reality world, and now in the VR, you can basically choose like a life or a situation or anything that you want. And she could have been a mom, she could have been like a fighter, this, that, and the third. No, but she does the one thing that shows it just shows like how envious she is of Supergirl. She basically turns herself into Supergirl. She has like a black and blue Supergirl costume, which she did look good in, by the way. But and that's the elephant in the room that nobody's really addressing, especially when she when Alex cursed her out about how like my dad loved you more than he loved me or whatever. Like she could have been anything else in the world. She could have been anything else on the planet, but she specifically chose to be Supergirl because Alex is just flat out jealous of Kara. She's jealous of Supergirl, and I wish she would admit that or say that on the show because. It's like, come on. It's like you could like to be Supergirl. It's like, all right, fine. And then she made Kara like in the VR. Kara is just like some regular reporter that gets in trouble all the time. So like I said, but Alice is working out. She's working out her issues. So she ends up meeting this girl, who's also, she entered the virtual reality. She was saying that, she just comes here to like escape for a little bit because she has a friend who's dying of cancer, and she said that she can't afford to go visit her in the hospital, which I thought was pretty odd because I'm just like, you can't afford a plane ticket to go visit your friend who's dying of cancer, but but you can afford these contact lenses, which I'm pretty sure cost a pretty penny. So but we then there was another guy who was playing the guitar, and then but the funny thing is that guy he wasn't under the impression that he was in a virtual reality. He thought he was in the real world because, as we saw in a previous episode, people are getting trapped into the virtual reality. Like there's like a glitch where their contacts turn red, and then they get sucked in, and then they start believing the virtual reality is reality, and then once they're in that, they get stuck. But so far, like Alex was able to, she was able to fight that. Like she still, like Alex knew she was in virtual reality. She was flying around, she was saving the city, like the people, like people were loving her, and even then, like she was still aware that she was in virtual reality. It wasn't until, it wasn't like later on, like as she got like deep into it, she ended up going to the DEO. And then, she was just like, wow, all my friends are here. And then, she was the focus of attention. Like she was Supergirl. So everybody was like, oh, we have a problem. So then she ended up fighting like Hank Henshaw to go save Kara. And then, she beat up Hank Henshaw. And the more and more she got into it, her contacts ended up turning red. And then she slowly just started falling for the virtual reality. She started getting sucked into it, especially like she was getting love from the people. Like people were interviewing her, people were cheering for her and clapping for her. She was killing dragons, and the whole thing. And then she's like, wow, like, yeah, I am Supergirl. Like, this is the shit. It wasn't until when she went to the alien bar. And then while she was in the alien bar, she bumped into another girl who came into the virtual reality dressed up like Supergirl. She had the same powers and everything. She just had like the cute skirt on. And then Alex was just like, wait, she has powers. She's like, how could there be two Supergirls? And then like that's when she was like, wait a minute, this shit isn't real. But then the DEO called her because there was an alien. And then she immediately got sucked right back into it because she was like, oh, duty calls, and then she took off. So now Alex is trapped. On the outside, Kelly, who got thrown out of her apartment, Kelly ended up, going back to work. And then William showed up because William, he's investigating Lex Corp and Lex Luthor. Kelly decides, like Kelly and William, they get into a conversation. She was telling him about how, they had this virtual reality glitch where people were getting trapped. And then Kelly said that she put in a patch to have that fixed, and nobody ever fixed it. So she confronted Andrea about it. And then she told Andrea, she was just like, yo, they never fixed the patch. And Andrea was just like, well, we're not going to cancel selling them the contacts because we still want people to be able to escape. But then Kelly was like, but if people are being trapped, the public should know. And then Andrea was like, no, like, shut your face. She's like, don't say anything. So I'm like, all right, so it seems like that's a little fishy for Andrea. That's like, why would she not want to get the glitch fixed? But maybe she just wants to keep the money coming in. She doesn't want to stop production, which is fine. So Kelly, but she told her, she was just like, listen, she's like, she'll take care of it. And that was supposed to be it. So then, so William and Kelly together, they talked about how they were both going to investigate the Luthor situation because Kelly had said that Lex Luthor is actually on the board of directors now for the Obsidian Project. So he said that he'll continue. He's like, I'll continue to look into this. He's like, I'll just view my contacts. And, so then then he told Kelly, he was like, yo, you should go home and check on Alex. So Kelly goes to Alex, and then she finds Alex like trapped. She was like, why are your contact lenses red? And then, she tries to like put some adrenaline in her to like shock her and like wake her up. It doesn't work. She goes into the virtual reality to try to pull her out. And when Kelly went in, Alex, at that point, she met Alex, they were talking, but at that point, Alex was convinced that what was going on was real life, and then she just brushed Kelly off like, oh, you're probably just like under some alien influence or you're sick or something. And then, Kelly realized she was just like, I can't get her out that way. So Kelly leaves. She calls Andrea. She's like, yo, Alex is stuck. I don't know what to do. And then Andrea told Alex, she was just like, what you got to do is you're going to have to create a situation where you're going to have to shock her and show her something that she can't dispute as not being fake. So what Kelly did was she created an avatar version of Alex's younger self. She put the avatar into the program. The avatar was talking to Alex, so Alex saw herself as a teenager, same actress who played her before. And then the avatar was just like she was like, what's going on isn't real, and this, that, and the third. And then the avatar took her to the place where Jeremiah died. And then she told her, she was like, listen, it doesn't matter if you're Supergirl, if you're the leader of the DEO, if you're Mary Poppins, if you're G.I. Joe. She was like, we couldn't save him, and we have to accept that. And then it was hard for Alex, but she finally accepted it. She accepted the fact that the virtual reality, she was in virtual reality. She remembered she was in virtual reality. She ended the simulation. She woke up in her apartment. She apologized to Kelly for being a bitch. But then the both of them were just like, listen, like there's a bigger threat here. There's actually something going on with these, because Alex told that this is the second time she's witnessed, somebody getting trapped into the virtual reality, and this time it happened to her. So she was just like, yo, they got to look into this. Like her and Kelly together, they were like, yo, something's up. We got to look into it. But first, got to go to my daddy's funeral. So, so for William ended up, because he ended up finding a lead, to where like, because people were disappearing. Like all the people who were quote unquote trapped in the virtual reality, a lot of them were disappearing and nobody's seen them. He found the warehouse where all the people were being held captive. But this old lady, like this old granny goodness looking lady, and she might be granny goodness, she might be working for Leviathan. I don't know what she's doing, but this woman did some magical like hocus pocus mumbo jumbo, and because she had a whole bunch of people who were trapped in virtual reality, laid up on tables and everything, she did some magical ish and just made everybody disappear. So when William came into the room to investigate, he just saw an empty room. And he was just like, all right, nobody's here. It must have been a dead end. And then he left. So I'm just like, what kind of power? I was like, either she's a Leviathan or she Granny Goodness, because that was crazy. But then William, when he left, he found like a doctor bracelet, one of those bracelets that you get at a hospital. He found one on the floor that had a patient's number on it. So William's not done investigating it, so he's gonna look into that further, and he's gonna come up with some stuff. And William's probably gonna die before the season's over. Yeah, so that was it. And then then at the end they showed Alex at her dad's funeral. She apologized to Carr and everybody, and it was all beautiful and lovely and and heartwarming. So this is good, because right now, everybody, like all characters, all parties involved, everybody's basically all in on this virtual reality thing. And now they're going to start actually looking into the virtual reality as a whole. Like the entire team is going to look into it now, because now they got solid evidence. I still want to know what happened to Lena, what's going on with Lex and Lex's big plan, and Leviathan as well, because we got multiple big bads. We got Lex, we got Lena, we got Leviathan, and I want to see where it goes. So good episode of Supergirl, and I can't wait to see what happens in episode 17. So that was it. That was my reviews for Supergirl and or Batwoman. Thank you for tuning in. New episodes of The Flash and Legends have sparked up, so we're going to do some reviews for that. Leave a comment, like, and or subscribe. And as always, until next time, everybody, stay safe, and I'm out this bitch!